This is really important. Your subconscious mind does not engage in proving whether your thoughts are good or bad, true or false, but it responds according to the nature of your thoughts or suggestions. For example, if you consciously assume something as true, even though it may be false, your subconscious mind will accept it as true and proceed to bring about the results which must necessarily follow because you consciously assumed it to be true and consented to the truth of this manifestation to come into your world while you were conscious. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're getting back into The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. This is chapter 2, How Your Own Mind Works. And what this chapter is going to cover is how you can use your conscious mind and learn how to use it. That way you can start programming the subconscious mind, changing your belief systems and everything you consent to be true in your world, whether it's true, false, real, or unreal, it does not matter. You have a mind and you should learn how to use it. And that's exactly what we're going to cover in chapter 2, in The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And also in this chapter, we are going to cover experiments that were conducted by psychiatrists. And also we're going to cover autosuggestion. Chapter 2, How Your Own Mind Works. You have a mind and you should learn how to use it. There are two levels of your mind, the conscious or rational level and the subconscious or irrational level. You think with your conscious mind, and whatever you habitually think sinks down into your subconscious mind, which creates according to the nature of your thoughts. Okay, so your subconscious mind is the seat of your emotions and is the creative mind. If you think good, good will follow. If you think evil, evil will follow. This is the way your mind works, but we're going to break this down even further. The main point to remember is once the subconscious mind accepts an idea, it begins to execute it in your world. It is interesting and the subtle truth that the law of the subconscious mind works for good and bad ideas alike. This law, when applied in a negative way, is the cause of failure, frustration, and unhappiness. So if you're using the subconscious mind, or unconsciously using the subconscious mind, you have negative thoughts, habitually negative thoughts throughout the day, this is what is causing the failure, frustration, and unhappiness in your life. So you have to take conscious control of changing your thoughts to positive thoughts and not negative thoughts, because they are impressed into the subconscious, and then your reality is created based on this. Okay, so this law, when applied in a negative way, is the cause of failure, frustration, and unhappiness. However, when your habitual thinking is harmonious and constructive, you're focused on your purpose, you experience perfect health, success, and prosperity. Peace of mind and a healthy body are inevitable when you begin to think and feel in the right way. And this kind of goes back to Charles Haanel, the affirmation Charles Haanel presented in his book, The Master Key System, is I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. And this affirmation was actually created by a patient on his deathbed. And the doctors were telling him that there's no way you're going to survive, that your condition is just too extreme and your death is inevitable. So he came up with this affirmation, I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. And he started repeating this day in and day out, every second of the day. Even when he woke up in the middle of the night, he would catch himself because he was building this momentum, doing it throughout the day, that even when he woke up in the middle of the night, he would automatically be repeating this in his mind. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. And what this did was it caused his illness to go away, because illness cannot live in a body that is grateful or harmonious. So what this affirmation was stating and creating within him, illness could no longer live within him. And he actually was cured of this. And the doctor said that there was no way that he was going to survive, but he actually survived this by repeating this affirmation. And the crazy thing about this story is there were actually other people in his family, like other relatives in his family, that were also sick with a similar disease and were told that they weren't going to make it either. And just from him affirming this within himself, actually cured him and cured 3 or 4 other people in his family. So not only did this affirmation cure him from something that was inevitable to happen to him. His death was inevitable, according to the doctors. It cured him, and it also cured other people in his family. Because as we know, separation is an illusion that we're all actually connected, and it's just an illusion of separateness. So when he started affirming this, he actually started curing other people around him that may have been causing it, or he was causing it the entire time. Maybe his illness was actually causing their illness. So when he cured himself, it actually dovetailed out of him and started curing everyone around him. And you can start doing this. There's actually experiments on this where they get so many people that do meditations, like in a group setting. They'll get like 100 people or 1,000 people that'll do these meditations in these cities that have really, really high, crazy crime rates. And they'll go within there and do these love meditations or these gratitude meditations. And then they'll check the statistics, like say like the month of February, they had so much, they had like 40% crime rate. And all of a sudden they did this meditation. And then in March they did it. And then they'll look back in April and they'll say, okay, so March was actually down, from 40% to 20%, like during that month that they actually did this group meditation. And there's actually experiments that are being done like this, where these meditations can actually start healing the city around itself, because in the quantum field there is no separation from any of us, where it's actually just an illusion of separateness. The fact that you look like you're separate from me and I look like I'm separate from you, there is an unbroken connection between us right now that it's just invisible. You just can't see it, but we are connected, and you are connected with everything. You actually are consciousness. You are a part of consciousness. You are a particle of God. And I brought this up because I think it's so relevant to this chapter, and I think that you can actually use this in application form in your life, because he covers, if you're thinking in a negative way, it's causing your failure, frustration, unhappiness. Your health can be destroyed basically by your thoughts. So this man in this testimonial from the Master Key System that all of a sudden changed his inner dialogue, with I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, he was actually able to cure himself because he changed his inner dialogue. And when you're in this state of harmony and love and gratitude, illness can no longer live in your body. And he was consumed with this illness. So when he changed his thoughts from being negative to being harmonious and constructive and living in a state of gratitude, he was completely healed. And not only did he heal himself, he healed other people in his family that were also sick based on the same sort of thinking. And it's just like what Joseph Murphy says right here. Peace of mind and a healthy body are inevitable when you begin to think and feel in the right way. Whatever you claim mentally and feel as true, your subconscious mind will then accept and bring forth into your experience. So the only thing necessary for you to do is to get your subconscious mind to accept your idea. And you can do this through affirmations, just like in the Master Key System, changing your inner dialogue. And however you want to do that, visualizing, scripting, or affirming works with this. The only thing necessary for you to do is get your subconscious mind to accept your idea, and the law of your own subconscious mind will bring forth the health, the peace, or the position you desire. You give the command or declare the command, and your subconscious will faithfully reproduce the idea impressed upon it. The law of your mind is this: you will get a reaction or response from your subconscious mind according to the nature of the thought or idea you hold in your conscious mind. Psychologists and psychiatrists point out that when thoughts are conveyed to your subconscious mind, impressions are made in the brain cells. And as soon as your subconscious accepts any idea, it proceeds to put it into effect immediately. It works by association of ideas and uses every bit of knowledge that you have gathered in your lifetime to bring about this purpose. This will happen too. If you start affirming something crazy, or you start visualizing something really big for yourself, the subconscious mind will use every bit of knowledge that you have absorbed in your past to bring about your visualization. So if you're visualizing yourself being a multimillionaire, the subconscious mind is going to use every bit of knowledge and experience that you have from your past, and it's going to put all of that into action and start opening up doors where you can start using these things. And it may be like a talent that you never even knew that you had, but it was something that you saw and you did when you were really young. But the subconscious mind knows all of this. So when you start visualizing yourself being a millionaire or creating something really big, the subconscious mind is going to use that talent, and it's going to open a door, and you're just going to walk right through it. Whether that's, being an artist or a musician or, whatever it is, but you create an entirely new reality based on this by impressing the subconscious mind with something new. And then whatever knowledge that you have in the past, whether that's a talent that you don't even knew that you had, it's going to be used in order to fulfill this purpose. Because the subconscious mind draws on the infinite power, energy, and wisdom within you. It lines up all the laws of nature to get its way. Sometimes it seems to bring about an immediate solution to your difficulties, but at other times it may take days, weeks, or even longer. Its ways are past finding out. But just like this, it can be used for instant manifestations, just like this. Like if you lose your keys, or you lost your ID, or you lost your wallet. I've done this a million times, and I've seen a million different testimonials on this where you can actually use this for instant manifestations. All right, so this is conscious and subconscious terms differentiated. You must remember that these are not two minds. They are merely two spheres of activity within one mind, because the subconscious and conscious live within consciousness. So consciousness is the one and only mind. So they are merely two spheres of activity within one mind. Your conscious mind is the reasoning mind. It is the phase of mind which chooses. So at every point in your life, you have the choice of what thoughts that you choose to formulate and impress the subconscious mind with. So, for example, you choose your books, your home, your partner in life. You make all of your decisions with your conscious mind. On the other hand, without any conscious choice on your part, your heart is kept functioning automatically, and the process of digestion, circulation, and breathing are carried on by your subconscious mind through processes independent of your conscious control. Your subconscious mind accepts what is impressed upon it, or what you consciously believe. It does not reason things out like your conscious mind, and it does not argue with you controversially. The subconscious mind is like the soil which accepts any kind of seed, good or bad. Your thoughts are active and might be likened unto seeds. Negative, destructive thoughts continue to work negatively in your subconscious mind, and in due time will come forth into your outer experience, which corresponds with them. Remember, your subconscious mind does not engage in proving whether your thoughts are good or bad, true, false, but it responds according to the nature of your thoughts or suggestions. See, the subconscious mind doesn't care whether you're thinking evil or negative. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care whether you're doing that. It doesn't even know the difference. It's gonna recreate those same similar thoughts into reality for you that are going to be based on those. So be very careful of those things. So if you consciously assume something as true, even though it may be false, your subconscious mind will accept it as true and proceed to bring about the results which must necessarily follow because you consciously assumed it to be true. All right, so now we're going to get into the experiments that were conducted by psychologists as it relates to the subconscious and the conscious and autosuggestion and in hypnotic states. So innumerable experiments by psychologists and others on persons in the hypnotic state have shown that the subconscious mind is incapable of making selections and comparisons which are necessary for a reasoning process. They have shown repeatedly that your subconscious mind will accept any suggestion, however false. It doesn't matter if it's true or false, it will accept any suggestion. Having once accepted any suggestion, it responds according to the nature of the suggestion that you gave it. To illustrate the amenability of your subconscious mind to suggestion, if a practiced hypnotist suggests to one of his subjects that he is Napoleon Bonaparte, or even a cat or a dog, he will act out the part with exact accuracy. His personality becomes changed for the time being. He believes himself to be whatever the operator tells him he is. So whether that's a cat, a dog, or an astronaut, that is what the subject is going to believe to be true in his reality, because that's been expressed by the subconscious mind now. So he is hypnotized. He has now impressed the subconscious mind with a new belief. And you can do this consciously. You can actually do this consciously by convincing yourself in the conscious state that you are now the person that you want to be. And you do this in a hypnotic state, like the state akin to sleep, or as you're falling asleep, or doing affirmations. This is the same exact thing, and it's correlated all into this. So this is how you can understand how this works and how effective this can be. And you're hypnotizing using autosuggestion on yourself, tricking yourself to believe that you are now the person that you want to be, and then impressing that into the subconscious mind, and then it's expressed into your 3D reality. You're now going to believe that you are this person. And now you're going to do all these things to get it, and all these other doors are going to open for you, and all these talents that you may not even know that you have, but the subconscious mind does know that you have all these talents, and then it's going to use those, open up doors, and then you're going to start creating all these things, and before you know it, you're going to be that person in your reality. But another big part of this that I want to add myself from my own experiences impressing the subconscious mind with a different version of myself and manifesting things is that you shouldn't talk about these things. You don't need to talk about them in your 3D reality, because the way that the fourth dimension works with time, space, the subconscious mind already knows whether you're going to talk about it, if you're going to talk about it, if you already had talked about it, or you're going to talk about it later. And a lot of times this will create interference with the ego, because you're attaching your ego to your manifestations, and then you're losing your power, because all the power that is contained within the subconscious mind, it doesn't contain any ego. So God doesn't have an ego. So if you want to connect to that God power, you have to release the ego from it. Don't worry about talking about it, because that doesn't matter about talking about it. You don't need to brag about it. You don't need to tell people about it. You just need to work on this. You need to change you need to disregard your circumstances, and just assume that you are the person that you are and start acting in accordance with that, and then trick the subconscious mind into believing that, and persist in this until you actually land this, and hypnotize yourself to believe that you are now this new person, and you've impressed the subconscious mind. So just disregard yourself completely from talking about it, telling people what you're creating, or even after you're going to create it, because the subconscious mind knows before you create it whether you're going to talk about it afterwards. It already knows that, because the future is already finished, just like the past is already finished. So it already knows everything that's going to happen. So this can cause interference. And just don't worry about talking about it. You don't need to talk about it. Just be a creator, or even if anything, just play dumb about it. Play dumb about it. So when you're creating things and they actually start coming in, and people start noticing all these good things start happening, be like, oh, I guess I'm just lucky, or I guess just all these things just always just fall right into my lap. You know, you kind of play dumb about it. Just don't tell people what you're creating before or after. And the only exception to this, whether you're going to talk about it after, is if you're trying to leave testimonials, or you're trying to help other people just to start using the application form of it, not for your own ego, but actually trying to help other people by telling them what you have created. I use this technique, and this actually worked for me. I created this, this, and this, and I want you to use it. I want you to try this, because your life is a mess, and my life was also a mess, and I started using these techniques, and this is what I've created for my life, and I really want you to do the same thing. So that's the only exception that I would say would be appropriate for talking about your manifestations, if you're trying to help someone else and you're trying to produce evidence for them. That way they can actually use this to help their lives. All right, so here's where Joseph Murphy gets back into the experiments about the conscious mind and subconscious mind, where they're being hypnotized through auto-suggestion, and the things that happen when they're convinced that there's something that they're not, and then that's expressed into their 3D world, and their personality expressed and changes their personality to believe that all of these other things are happening to them now while they're under this hypnosis. So a skilled hypnotist may suggest to one of his students in the hypnotic state that his back itches, and then he'll feel like his back itches, he'll scratch his back. Okay, so to another that his nose is bleeding, to another that he is a marble statue, to another that he is freezing, the temperature is below zero. Each one will follow out of the line of his particular suggestion, totally oblivious to all of his surroundings which do not pertain to his idea. These simple illustrations portray clearly the difference between your conscious reasoning mind and your subconscious mind, which is impersonal, non-selective, and accepts as true whatever your conscious mind believes to be true. Hence, the importance of selecting thoughts, ideas, and premises which bless, heal, inspire, and fill your soul with joy. So that's the biggest point about this. This is where I'm going to end the chapter, but we're going to come back to this next part here in part B of chapter 2, which is the terms objective and subjective mind clarified. But the biggest part about this, the most important part about this aspect, is that your subconscious mind is impersonal and non-selective. So whatever you convince yourself and believe to be true with your conscious mind, and you personalize this belief into your conscious state, and then you impress that into the subconscious, it will be expressed into your 3D reality. So all you have to do is convince yourself with your conscious mind. It doesn't have to be true. It can be completely false. But if you persist in this, it will harden into a fact and objectify into your 3D world. So relevant to this chapter, I'm going to leave a card to a sleep meditation on the screen that's going to assist you in being hypnotized. So hypnotizing yourself, or allowing me to hypnotize you into a new state of disregarding your circumstances and creating a new version of yourself. And then you're going into the subconscious lover, or into this hypnotic state where you're actually convinced of something, the truth of something that may be false in your world, but now it feels truthful to you, and now you are accepting that or transitioning into the subconscious mind with this new version of you. Then it'll be expressed into your world. So click on that card, use that, and persist in the sleep meditations until it actually manifests into your world. All right, guys, I love you, and I will see you in the next video, and we'll be getting into part B, which is the terms objective and subjective mind clarified in the following videos. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.